Now then, people, good evening and welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show. I hope you are all doing well. A day later than normal. It is the final word. We will touch on what was a loss against Blackburn, but I do also want to focus on the future and how we turn around this away form that is plaguing Leeds United. And no doubt we're going to talk about the manager. I've decided to call these folks. I mean, listen, I can't speak for them, but I think they're all of sound mind, so therefore they don't want the manager sacked. So with the FDL, all right, with the Farke Defence League right here. So yeah, I just laughed at my own thing there. Thought it was funny. Is what it is. Probably triggered a few people in the chat. Is what it is. That's what I'm here for. Boxing gloves are on. So yeah, before we get into it all though, let's just see how everyone is. Jack, we'll start with you, and let me just put you over here while you tell us. Come on, Jack, talk to us, man. How are you, mate?
I'm all right. Yeah, what are we have just for a chat in general, or
yeah, man, let's just have a chat. How's things?
Conversation. Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, it's been a bit of a normal weekend. Not to
DJing.
Yeah,
eyeball Paul and that.
Yeah, as always, as per.
Love it. Lucky, how's things with you, my man? Good?
Yeah, mate.
How was your food? I know you were waiting on what food delivery. Was it an actual food
shopping.
delivery or
shopping?
Oh, shopping delivery. I did think why you'd scheduled like an hour out of your day for this takeaway. It was like between these times, but yeah, now it makes sense.
I didn't decide it should be arriving at 8:30. That wasn't me, but
bit late, isn't it, really? It's a bit of a piss take, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. I said that quietly, Joe. Yeah, but no, I'm all right, mate.
Do you ever get that thing where they say, we didn't have this, but we replaced it with this?
Yeah.
And it's like, but I don't fucking like that.
So it's always scones or scones. From Leeds.
Let's not get into that. That's bigger than Farke in, Farke out. That is scone and scone.
whatever you call them. We go for plain ones, right? But they bring them. They didn't have them, so they give ones with raisins in. I don't like raisins.
I like raisins. Yeah. What's going on?
Do you know what I mean?
Liberty.
First of all,
Evie. Yep. Evie, how are you? Did you have a nice weekend? Were you poorly at the weekend?
No, I was out. Yeah, that was the week before. I was Christmas tree decorating yesterday, so I'm emotionally poorly after that, to be honest. It's always fun and games when you're trying to figure out, no, that bit goes at that side of the tree. No, just give me the decorations. I'll do it. It's fine. Kids, go away. I want it to look nice. But we're supposed to do it as a family. Well, yeah, but you're doing it wrong. So, it was a lovely day.
So I used to always get into this with Harry's mum. I'd be like, let the fucking kids do it. No,
you see, now they're all older. They're like 11 to 15, and like it's one of them's going around with like headphones in. The other one just can't be asked, and then the other one's like, "Well, yeah, but I wanted to do it 2 hours ago, and now I'm bored." So yeah, I get more enjoyment out of it.
You go back when they're in bed and put it right.
Absolutely. I would never undermine them to the face. I do it all behind their backs.
To be honest, I let my kids do it, me. I just go, right, there's the tree. Decorate however you want, man. But hey ho. My Tash still going strong, my man.
Still going. Yeah. Well, strong. I don't know about strong, but yeah, it's still there.
It's a bit patchy in parts, mate. You'll get there. You'll get there, mate.
Hopefully one day, mate.
One day. How's things with you?
Yeah, all good, mate. Thank you. I worked on Saturday, which was a bit of a pain. First game I've missed watching live for a while, so I had you all watch along on and found a YouTube full video to watch back, which knowing you've lost 1-0 in a poor game and having to watch it back then is actually quite terrible, to be fair. But I did it anyway, got through it. So, yeah, seen enough of it to know what I'm waffling on about. But, yeah it's all good by the football, mate, but move on, don't we? And we keep going. We keep moving.
Good man, we do. Brian, I've never even stepped foot in a Waitrose, mate. So you haven't seen me in that posh shop, I tell you that much. Actually, let's start with that. I seen a brilliant tweet by Graham Smith, and when he said the posh Leeds fans won't know what to do with themselves because Leeds have drawn Harrogate in the FA Cup third round, the first ever time we'll face them in a competitive game. Do you reckon it's going to go off? Do you think the Harrogate Ultras and Leeds? It's a bit mad, that, isn't it? Like that we're going to play them. It might get TV coverage. Cool. we've got to batter them, haven't we? We always beat them pre-season with young runs, so I'd imagine more of the same, eh? Anybody?
Yeah. I'd like it. It's nice that we're at home, and we're not travelling to the back end of Beyond to get beaten by some third division club kind of thing. But we'll just get beaten by Harrogate, and they'll be really polite about it and offer to take us for Betty's afterwards, kind of thing. But
it's a really romantic fixture, that one, isn't it? When you look at the FA Cup and you look at that and think Leeds v Harrogate, it's a brilliant fixture, really. I mean, when I was at the Luton game, there was a fella sat to my left, and he was a lovely man. I think he was in his 60s, and he goes to every Harrogate game that doesn't clash with Leeds, so he goes to both. And he was sat there in his Leeds top and coat with a Harrogate beanie on, and he was a lovely guy. So he must be buzzing tonight to see that as a fixture to pop out. So yeah, I'm pleased for him.
Yeah, it's nice, man. It is, mate. It is nice. Yeah, it is nice.
That's weird. Yeah, when I saw it, I went, "Oh."
Yeah, it's one of them, isn't it?
They're saying that now until they beat us, mate, and then fuck Harrogate.
I used to work late nights in Harrogate as well, and it's
the
Wolves.
It's kind of us beating us, isn't it?
Not that nice.
There you go. Right, let's get stuck into the game then. You know what? I'm going to start with you, Matty, because we have a few exchanges, and I felt earlier on when you were sending me a couple of voice notes that your confidence was waning. So I want to hear where you're at first, and then these lovely folks who I think they're still there. They're going to build you up, I think. So come on, talk to us, Matty. What's going on? It's a safe space. You can talk to us.
Honestly, you know what I'm like, mate. I'm usually over the top of confidence, and I'm battered today. To be fair, like it's just this away form. I just don't know what's going on with us. I don't even feel like it matters who we pick at minute. It's just sometimes you have these hoodoos, Leeds fans, Leeds players, whether it's playing in away kit or third kit, we can't get a win in London. Now it seems to be lunchtime kickoffs or away games. I don't know what it is. It's panicking me a little bit. Obviously, you can't be out the races every single day. That's a fact. Obviously, whether you play a top side or a lower side, sometimes you can just be caught cold. And I just feel like, some managers have Farke's number, and he's definitely one of them, as was Russell Martin last season. And I feel like he's maybe just not adapting, for certain games. I know you're a big advocate of if players not working, do it better. And yeah, I agree to a degree, but I feel like he has to tweak certain stuff, I just feel like we're struggling to get Aronson in game. The midfield as a whole, Tanaka and Rothwell, they just didn't have a good game either, and I don't really know what to say other than it was just all around just a poor performance by everyone. I thought Firpo looked cold, even though, he hasn't been out too long. He's been out 3 games, but it's only been a matter of a couple of weeks since he last kicked the ball. And yeah, I don't know, mate, just one of them. I'm really down about it. I just need someone to pick me up, to be fair, and give me a cuddle.
Lockie, what do you put this away? Because it sort of crept up on us before we beat Swansea. It was 2 months, which isn't good, right? There is obviously an issue there, and some would argue, well, Swansea wasn't great either. As a spectacle, as a game, 7 goals, amazing, winning it last minute, amazing, but it maybe should have been more routine than that. And then we go and play Blackburn, and I don't subscribe to this thing that they're shite because, they've just beaten Borough, they've just beaten Cardiff, and then they beat us. So they're in decent form, and they've got a decent manager at this level. So that was always going to be a tough game, but there is a concern in some of the away games aren't really perceived tough opposition, and we've made it that way, man. It's not. It must be like 1 win in about 4 or 5, something like, even if not more than that. 2 months, yeah, it'll be a while now. What do you put it down to?
God, don't know. There's loads of things you could probably look at. I know away games ever easy. We've all played away, no matter what level it's at. So you always feel better at home, don't you? Yeah. You feel more comfortable at home. Yeah. So it's never easy, when you're going somewhere else. But look, yeah, you can look at Eustace. He knows how to play against possession-based teams. He knows how to set up a really good shape and be really competitive. And that's what he was, really competitive. The team was really well drilled. I'm watching it back this afternoon for a video I'm doing, and yeah, so well drilled. And we just lacked something. We lacked something to really break it or really create some big chances more than maybe 2 or 3 times. The intensity as well. This little things, what I don't think helps us at all in tight games like that away from home. It's rare that really go away any team and batter a team away. It's quite rare. I think what doesn't help us actually is just how we don't score from set pieces, really. I know we did with Pirro last week, but that's 2 in, I think, all season, right? Was that 1 or 2? There's not many. We have, how many corners do we have a game? Must be like 10 to 15. It's ridiculous. And we don't even win the header on most of them. It's really bad. So you've not got them late set piece goals. From dead balls or like free kicks were bad. We don't have that threat. We don't really score from edge of box. We don't score much headers. So I'm thinking there's not really many ways in which we score. We score by playing football and beating teams like that. I don't think you see often either many players going on an amazing run anymore and taking a few on and slotting one in corner.
Well, we still don't have goals from midfield, which we were...
Exactly.
That was the reason we changed Kamara, and we're still not getting that. We're better, but we're still not getting goals.
And all these little things add up to a point in a game or a win. That'll happen in the season. I keep saying, I've said it all season. It's not just a recent thing. We need to start being more deadly from set pieces. That's not just corners. That's free kicks. We had a few at the edge of the box, and they all hit the wall every time. Do you know what I mean? It's very frustrating. And again, look, talk about the manager. Of course you can. He's got to find a way to get his team set up or in the mindset in a way where we do win more away, because that is probably the only thing this season, because at home we look really good. Away, we struggle to, when we go 1-0 down, I think we've lost all of them 1-0, haven't we? We struggle to get back into it from 1-0. This is a team that scored the most in the league or second in the league. And we struggle to get into games when we're 1-0 down away. And that is something we've got to watch and look at and get out of it, to be honest. There's not one thing, mate. Until we get out of it, it's probably hard to say what it is until we get out of it and then realise what it maybe was. But sorry to ramble on. I don't know, to be honest. At the end of it, there's loads, probably.
Jack, you're normally pretty philosophical in these moments and say how you see it. No, I do think you are. You're quite just like straight down the line, and this is how it is. And so talk to me. How are you seeing it currently, mate?
Very philosophically. That's a word. I think that's interesting what Lockie said there about set pieces and stuff, to be fair, because, Rothwell can deliver the ball now, can't he? We are actually putting in a decent ball from the corners. Like, if Rothwell mucks one up, the crowd aren't getting on. And, when there was like a thing with corners. Yeah. But it's literally, so if Rothwell, he gets probably 1 wrong in 10, doesn't he? With just 2 wrong in 10 corner-wise. And if Struick is not winning the header, nobody's winning the header. Yeah. If it goes past or before Struick, we don't win it. And it's not like, there's little like, it doesn't have to be a John Terry power heading, does it? It just anything, just get something in and around it so that it bounces, it bobbles
Unless
about.
It's Rodon. If it hits his head, it just fucking goes anywhere, man. He can't.
I mean, I don't think, to be fair, I don't mean this against Struick, but I don't think he's good at winning he's good in the air, but he's not. No. Not a goal, is it? It's not like he's not particularly.
He scores more with his feet in the box from a corner than he does with his head.
And we could look at getting some more mucky goals, really, just like nicking goals. And when was last time we scored like a randomly, do you know what I mean, like a ridiculous goal where you thought, oh, nice one, we sort of got that in locker. It is a bit perfect, and it does become a little bit predictable. But I don't know. Obviously, everybody's going to talk about subs and stuff as well, aren't they? Like, I mean, I think he could have got away with it on Saturday, doing it earlier. Just on the basis, I think he keeps them on the basis that he wants to give them a proper run. I think he feels as though he's pulling them off, as though, so that's why he's waiting. That's the only thing I can think for the 70-minute thing, where he makes. I just don't know why I don't make one sub. I just don't think it makes a difference to the structure of the side. Yeah. If he brings one player on, and bear in mind, like Solomon, Joseph, whoever's on the bench, they've all been starters. Solomon, who did we have on bench this weekend on wing? Solomon and Ramazani. Well, he maybe didn't have 45, 30 minutes in him, but Solomon did. And Solomon's been a starter in the side, so you're not even really, you're just starting again. I'd have done something at half-time on Saturday, and I think he could have got away with it. So if you brought Aronson off, you're not calling Aronson out. It's just you've had a lot of minutes over the season. Yeah, we're just switching it up. I just think it needed a bit of intent, and then he brings them all on at once, and I just think it's messy. I just think you're not letting, it's too disjointed at that point. I don't know.
A lot of stuff out, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, and they all come on like they're all full of it, aren't they? For 5 minutes, and you think, oh, and they're all, and then when it dies off. Whereas if you bring them on sort of gradually, they all get their own little 10 minutes, don't they? Where they think I'm the sub. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't know. So I don't know. And in terms of away form, I do think it'll get sorted. And in fairness, most teams have. You know, we've got to have if we're not top at league, are we? So there must be some weakness to us. And currently, it's the away form. If we sort the away form out, I know that sounds obvious, but you know,
Jack, I'm just going to quickly run through December's fixtures for you. Yeah, so we've got Derby at home, Middlesbrough at home, Preston away, Oxford at home, Stoke away, Derby away. You'd imagine them away fixtures there, Preston, Stoke, and Derby. We have to pick up maximum points. They're fod. Look, I don't want to be too disrespectful, and you know, Andy's in the chat who's a Preston fan who says you'll beat us soon, but like you've got to expect 9 points from them three, I think, away. You've got to, haven't you?
Yeah.
You do. I know it's the Championship, I know, but like we're complaining about the away form. If you're going away to Preston, away to Stoke and away to Derby, they're the games that you've got to be winning. Otherwise, then it becomes a massive issue. It's like, fuck
yeah. I've said
Preston.
loads, but you know that there's going to be games that pop up, and if it's going to be Blackburn, then you have to go and make the other ones count, don't you? Because if we'd have beat Blackburn, then you'd have taken one of them and just gone, well, it is what it is. You know, we got a really poor result away from home at like wherever, you know, Derby or whatever. You know what I mean? But as it stands, we've had that now. We can't. We need to. This month needs to be. We need to be bang at it. Well, I do think to be top at league by end of December. Really.
I agree with you. I do. I think out of them fixtures there, Evie, that I've just mentioned, Derby, Middlesbrough, Preston, Oxford, Stoke, and Derby again. There's only Middlesbrough that I'm worried about, and that's at home. And we're pretty imperious at home. I know they beat us in the cup, but there's circumstances to that. But you would hope, Evie, that around the corner now, like a lot of people, this is the point. Like I did a video earlier on because I was, you know, frustrated and that after the weekend and just seeing some comments and, you know, people getting bogged down on the fact that we're third, and I get it. But by 2:30 on Saturday, before anyone else has played, we'll be top again if we beat Derby. Do you know what I mean? So I don't subscribe to this notion that it's that we need to throw the baby out with the bathwater. And look, there's loads of comments coming in, and I have starred them, and I think it's fair that we try and answer them for those that don't agree. But Evie, where are you out with it? Because I remember you saying last season our issue was beating lesser teams. You could argue, you know, this away form is now an issue. It's not so much the level of opposition; it just seems to be away from home. Is this just another thing this season to be worried about?
Yeah, I think last season as well, one of the things that we had was, even though you could still argue that we were the biggest team in the league, now there is no doubt in that fact, and I don't want that to come across as arrogant, but it is the game where most teams sell out their home fixture more than any other game in the season. So now we are the big fish in this pond, and people do raise their game. You know, we saw Blackburn last year beat us 1-0, and then I believe they got battered like 3 or 4-0 the following game because they'd used, you know, and the same with Huddersfield as well when they won that 1-1 draw against us last season. So many teams kind of expel so much energy to play Leeds United that then whoever comes after them is almost guaranteed some sort of points from them because of the fact that they're absolutely exhausted. And I can't remember, and anybody feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, I can't remember in the league Farke making changes to affect a game other than at halftime, other than Cody Drama last year against Ipswich. I cannot remember Farke making an unforced change against an opposition to change it because a player wasn't performing at their best. And that was in August last year. So I don't believe right now that it is worth the risk when you add up the pros and cons of changing the manager. But I am frustrated with him, and I'm not going to just sit here and be like Farke because, you know, that's all I'm going to believe. I am going to wear my frustrations because I am frustrated because patterns are both good and bad. And right now we have a bad pattern of our away form. And because of we could afford that if we had already won every single home fixture, but we have dropped 3 points at home this season. So you add that Burnley and turn that into a win, and we're already still sat top of the table. But you take Millwall from a loss to a draw, you take Bristol from a draw to a win. We're so massively comfortable at the top of that table. So it is so little errors, but the players have to be up for it as well. And I struggled with it last season. The players seem to somehow have this arrogance. And it's bad enough when I hear it from Leeds fans saying, you know, we should be absolutely like obliterating all of these teams. Like, that's just never going to happen, regardless of who you are. And anybody as well who says about, you know, like Farke out, you know, he doesn't change anything. Most managers don't change. If that is their philosophy, that is their philosophy. Yeah. What would be the point if you had a manager that was flip-flopping every single game? What on earth would they be, you know, what are they doing? Bielsa also had a philosophy and it worked for a long time, but he also didn't change it when, you know, if he'd have just changed small amounts, you know, maybe we only lose 2-0 to City instead of 7-0. Maybe we only lose 3-0 to Liverpool instead of 6-0. You know, you make those changes and then maybe Bielsa doesn't get sacked because he's made enough changes to limit the damage whilst not giving up on his philosophy. But managers who trust and believe in their own abilities don't do that. So why would they change what they're doing? Because otherwise you just don't have any kind of morals if you're just going to flip and flop on whatever social media says that day. Because this time last week we were all saying, wow, you know, Farke's subs came on and made a difference and made a change, and now we're back to Farke out kind of thing. I understand the frustrations because I have them too. Like, I'm not happy right now with our away form. It is worrying, but I think the difference for me is if we are able to turn this around, then last year's failings, a lot of the time was on the players. Whereas if we continue on this form, then last year's failings, in my eyes, land more on Farke, because that means he wasn't able to change the dressing room last season. Whereas, you know, this year, you know, we had players who were clearly looking on their next move, you know, regardless of how Rutter was excitable and this, that, and the other. He walked out the door when that, you know, he didn't have to go to Brighton. Nobody was forcing him. The club weren't forcing him. They were trying to go to negotiate for him to stay. So he didn't have to go. You know, Somerville, yes, he probably did have to go to balance the books, but he was also not at his best for quite a long period of time. So I just don't get the whole. I would love to genuinely, because I am frustrated, I would love to hear who's people's options, because David Moyes plays boring football, and yes, he's won a European Cup, but like, you can't win a European Cup in the Championship unless,
you know, these managers are not. These managers, Evie, that people are saying Potter and thing, they're not even in our fucking stratosphere. No disrespect.
You know, Potter's only been successful for like 2 seasons at Brighton, and where they've got a ridiculous scouting model as well, where all of those players have gone on to be successful without them, like without Potter. You know, it's not like Bielsa where he coached them and then all of a sudden, you know, those players other than Rafinha dropped off a cliff. You know, that's a difference. Potter hasn't made changed a player to just absolutely flourish into the next thing. You know, that's more on Brighton scouting.
Do you know what I find interesting about today's football? Do you know, like, this is just like kind of side point. You know, about this managers adapting plan A, plan B, plan C. I don't think any managers have that really anymore. No. You look at Company. Why did he get hired by Bayern Munich? Because of his style.
Yeah.
Why did Maresca go to Chelsea from Leicester, who Leicester fans, by the way, were frustrated because he only had a plan A? He got the job at Chelsea because they liked his style. Russell Martin. Why is he still there? They like the style. He hasn't changed. He's unapologetic. It'll have a work or it won't. That's like, and that's the thing these days in football, because fans are not on that level. Fans want to see managers change the way they're doing if they don't think it's working. But owners hire these guys based on plan A. They don't look at the manager and go, he's adaptable, he can do this. They look at plan A and go, I like that style, we'll hire him. So it's kind of getting that balance right, isn't it? Of finding a manager who Bielsa's another example. You know what we're going to do. Orta knew when he brought him in, there's only going to be one plan. But we love the football so much that we kind of let the fact that there was no other plan go. That's like the kind of contrasting thing in football right now. I think clubs are hiring managers based on plan A only. And that's why even Pep, he's struggling now. It's been a while, I know, but his plan A's gone a bit, what do we do? He's not going to change. He's not going to change the way he plays. He's going to try and make that plan better. Look, better off or worse, that's just what's happening. So the board, I don't think will sack Farke based on the fact there's no plan B. They'll sack him if the results aren't going well. In a certain amount of results, obviously, they will. They won't sack him because he's not adapting, because they brought him in knowing exactly the style. So I don't know, it's just a little side thing.
They're sacked anyway. The whole basis that the reason they're already sacked, they get sacked, so that's why they dig in. I honestly think that if they start wavering, I just think everybody at the club go, right, he's got to go. Then it's like it's a change. This is what you're here for, and now you're backing out of it. Like, what's happened? Like, I thought we were playing this expansive football or this type of football or whatever, and now you're like, we're lumping ball forward. So this isn't the interview you gave me when you came to the club, giving it big licks about how we're going to ignite the crowd and the fan base and that, and then you set up like Moyes. They'd be like, oh, no way. I'm not paying you £5 million a year to play this. Do you know what I mean? So they're sacked anyway. I think that's.
Do you know what a plan B is, Jack? He's a fucking big man up top and hoofing it. That's what people want, I swear to God it is. I'm telling you.
But the tallest striker we have is Bamford. And then those same people would be kicking off because we've got Bamford up top. So you can't have it both ways.
It's it's mad. It's mad. It is what it is. A lot of love for Evie in the chat. I don't know what you said that was to rattle me. What did you say? Did I miss that? Did I?
He said he wanted Darko Milner in instead of Farke.
Oh, he put that in for me, right? Okay, but I knew you chatting shit there though, Damar. So it's all right. Yes, man. I know, bro. I know. Anyway, sorry. What you say, Lockie? You muted, bro. Oh, you're not talking to us. Sorry, mate.
No, I am. Sorry. Yeah. I just want to say something. LUFC Lee there, just not even about. I'm not mentioning Farke specific. I'm just talking about the general scope of football, and everyone thinks I'm like I'm just stating the example. It's so annoying. I've criticised him in my videos today that I've done. Go watch it if you haven't after this. No one's. I don't think anyone on here has come on here and just said good things. We've all seen we're frustrated with things.
That's what I mean.
We all are. That's what annoys me. We're having a good discussion. No one's saying he's perfect. I don't think anyone said that. No. Sorry, it's just frustrating.
Who watched that on Saturday and were like buzzing? I don't know anybody that watched. You wouldn't even have to understand football and you'd know that word. Like this is not good. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know why people think I just sit there going like, oh, this is
the same as well, Jack. I get it. And they're like, why can't you just criticise him? I went, we've spent the last half hour of the post-match criticising the subs, the setup, the lineup. Like, you don't listen. Unless you said
absolutely. I'm not willing to hound players that I think we're in a good place. So I'm not willing to, after 90 minutes, give like, I thought everybody were really poor. Literally, I'm not going to even name one now because it's pointless. There was all poor. I saw your match rating, Lockie, and it were like, what are you to say? They're all like, it was all poor, but they're not rubbish. If they were rubbish, if this went on and on and on, I would start saying in my videos, this is absolutely rubbish and we can't put up with this. But it hasn't been. There's little things that we need to sort out, of course. And I think we'll get them sorted out. And if we don't, then I will start expressing more often than not that we're not sorting it out. But
I think the frustrating thing for me is, right, we're like this after one loss. I swear to God, I got a night thinking, imagine if we lost 2 on the spin. Imagine if we lost 3, man. Fuck. you know what I mean? Though, and the thing is, and this is why fans shouldn't own football clubs in a sense, because they're removed from it. I genuinely think we could lose 2 and 3 and they wouldn't sack it. But I just go, my God, like we can have a period of decent form, which we've been in, folks. You know, we've been in decent form up to this point. I felt Luton was our best performance of the season.
Yeah.
For me, anyway.
Yeah.
Then we lose one, and it's like, fuck, get him out, blah, 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 blah. Which then that's what I struggle with, people.
I think people aren't looking at like losing one because it's an away game again. They're combining the last 5 or 6 away games. You know what I mean? Like if we want to lose at Ellen Road, heaven forbid, like you could look at that and just put it down as a one-off. Because I know what you're saying. We won a couple, then you lose away to them at weekend. But for me, you're compelling like a few games there and putting them together, so it don't feel like it's just one loss. It feels like a bigger thing than just one loss, if you get me. But where I'm sort of at now, why I'm having my wobble, Joe, is like I've always been like you. I genuinely thought like a ridiculous statement, like we'd win league by 10, 12 points. Maybe that's just uneducated. I don't know, but that's just what I felt.
Well, I still say that now.
That could still happen, though. There's still 84 points to play for. Like, it could still easily
100%. I think it's just got to have this away form's got to get sorted, and it's just me mentally now with that sort of mentality of what if it's not as easy as what we thought. I still think we're going to win league. No, don't get me wrong, but imagine if it isn't as easy as what we thought, and imagine it comes down to needing to go to a QPR on last day and win. You know, that like we saw last season, and like me and Evie have touched on a lot. There's a lot more rotation, so I don't know if tired legs will come into it, where I think that played a big part last season. But have these lads got the mental steel if it gets to those points where you've got to win big games away from home towards the end of the season, like it's a playoff fixture, to go up? And we haven't got that buffer of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 points like I were hoping for and expected. That's just my worry. It's not really a criticism. It's just more a concern I have. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, of course, and I hear it. I mean, I still stand by the point that Leeds United will probably be top at Christmas. Leeds United will be the team that pulls away, and will probably win the league by about 10 points. I believe. Yeah. I'm not coming away from that yet, you know, and
wish I were that confident.
No, bro, honestly, like
Leicester
if we look at December, I go, sorry, Jack.
Leicester lost 11 games last year.
Yeah.
And we're back. We're 5 games off halfway through the season, and we've lost 3. So give or take a few games. If we get to 5 games, we're halfway through the season, having lost 3 or 4 games. We're on for losing 8, aren't we?
Yeah,
that sends us up.
This is the thing as well. Like, so yesterday, obviously, you know, on average, the winner of the championship tends to lose around 6 to 8 games. And like you said, well, we've lost. Someone responded and said what you said there. Said, well, based on 3 losses in 18, we'll finish with about 7 or 8. Farke will go up. Do you know what I mean? I think for me as well, what's like people are using last season and saying, well, we're in the same position, but there's a big difference. There's 3 points. Like on Saturday, we'll be back top again if we win at lunchtime. If we'd have won last season, we were still fucking 8 points behind Leicester. We're a runaway train.
That was so annoying, by the way. If we'd win,
do you know what as well? Sorry, just to clarify, because people, when you say normally, when you go up with 90 points, I just want to respond to a few comments on my last video. That would get you up and they go, well, no, Joe, because 2 teams got 90 points. Yeah, but that's the point. Normally, only 2 teams get 90 points. The anomaly last season was that 3 did. So normally, in a season, you would have 2 teams that get 90 points, there or thereabouts, and it gets you up. I'm not saying if you take Leeds with 90 and add it to that season, then because, there'd be 3 with 90 points, but I'm not saying that. The difference was last season, you had 3. You almost had 4, you know? Sonny, Joe, why are you speaking about this? We can't change it. About what?
Last season, I don't know.
Oh, fuck knows, man.
Fuck knows. Talk about anything, would you? You'd only talk about your future just constantly to everybody, always. Yeah. You'd never say, I was doing this last night. Like, well, you can't change it. I'm like, no, it's positive. I had a good night.
I've started a lot of comments because I feel like I want to answer and respond and just get your thoughts as well. There's loads coming in, so keep them coming in because I will star them, folks, positive and negative. Yeah. Well, do you know what as well, Jason? I don't even think it's Leeds fans. Every fan is fickle, man. It is, and people who say they're not are full of shit. Like,
Man City fans are falling apart right now.
Yeah. Football's a fickle game. It is what it is. Right. Okay. So, Lockie, I'm going to come to you with this one. Bravado says Farke is not a creative manager. He doesn't know how to adapt. He has a strategy and sticks to it. I guess you've already answered that actually with the plan A better. And if we think about all the top managers, so actually we've done. We've probably done that. Dean,
Can I just quickly say on creative?
Go, mate. Come on.
I think we're still either first or second on chances created. So that's all I'd say. That's all I need to add to that. Yeah, the other bit we mentioned earlier, didn't we, about the plan A? That's a normal thing. I think most managers are like that. Most managers get sacked because they don't change what they do. Yeah. And then the board will sack him and bring someone else in who has one way to play and do the exact same thing again until it works. That's just the way it is.
Do you not feel the biggest issue here, and Evie's brought it up before, Lockie, is conversion? If Leeds United could fit, no disrespect, and this
7.9%.
Yeah, do you know what, right? Because there's certain players in the fan base that get battered, and there's certain that get held up. Willie Nonto misses about 2 chances at the weekend to put Leeds in front. And I know it's not a lot, but he's the top guy, right? So he's got to be clinical in them moments. But all I see in my comments is Bamford's what's he bringing up Bamford for? Or Aronson shit, get him out, done off and nothing, right? That's all I've seen. Joseph needs to start. No disrespect. Joseph's had many chances and he's not done nothing. I'm serious. Like, I don't want to be too harsh because he's clearly...
Couldn't you say that about Solomon until the last couple of games, though? He got lots of chances to play himself in. And I personally think now we've had a few games of Pirro starting and they haven't been great games. I know he got a very, obviously, bizarre goal
I thought he was good against Luton, Evie, and I thought he was...
No, against Luton, yeah. No, I agree, but I'm just... For me, you do have to adapt to home games are different to away games. And we are noticing the home form. We've got no concerns. Like, I don't think anybody here has any concerns about our home form. We concede very few chances, very few goals, and we score plenty to get the job done. But our away form is something that we need to be, concerned about. And for me, you give Joseph or Bamford, and I'm not necessarily saying I want Bamford. I'm just saying, you can give him a chance. Tire them out and then bring Pirro on to be clinical because he is the most clinical striker that we have. I just think that we do need to do something different because if we start Pirro, then we go back to we have to start Aronson. Aronson needs a rest. He has had a lot of travel, played a lot of minutes, and he hadn't played all that many minutes last season. It was only near the back end of the season that he was getting a decent amount of minutes. And I really think that when he drops off, he just doesn't offer that much. He isn't that niggly player that he is. When he's on form, he's such a pain in the backside, but he ends up just being more of a pain in our backside. And I've got nothing against him. I want him to do well because I want Leeds to do well. But that's the whole point of a team. I think we need that rotation.
Yeah. We don't have a 10.
Then you play a different style. You put Tanaka up, you put Gilavogi on. You change it up. You have to adapt. And that's my frustration with Farke is we did see glimpses of that in pre-season and we were all really excited for the potential of playing slightly differently, and then we have never seen it since.
I think there needs to be an even. To be honest, I think in any team there has to be an even accountability between the players playing on the pitch, the manager, the coaching staff, and all that. I feel like whenever we lose, it's 90% manager's fault. Whenever we win, it's 90% the players. I don't get how that works. When we lose, it's the players and the manager's fault. When we win, it's because the manager and the players did the job that they trained all week doing. And and that's the situation. Any successful team, you need the players to be at the top level. You need the manager to give them the perfect plan. The players need to execute it. At the end of the day, look, there's things we can improve. But from a player perspective, Nonto scores that one-on-one chance, we probably win that game. These are the little moments where we can either
How
talk
many
about the
times
manager.
have we heard that this season?
Yeah, exactly, Joe. That's the problem, right? And it's not just Nonto; it's many all of them,
all of them.
players.
You don't get a
Stroud
conversion rate of 7.9 if it's only one player missing chances.
Stroud, was it the game? Was it that game or the one before where he misses an header from about 6 yards away when a ball came in? Like little things like this. Matteo coming off the bench has to take more of his chances. This is accountability on the players. If we're going to batter the manager, I just want people to give accountability to the players as well. They're all really good, apparently, which they are, right? So let's start seeing them have a higher conversion rate than 7%.
What we're seeing as well is when Joseph comes off the bench, he isn't impacting as a sub as Pirro does when Joseph's been starting. So I'd like to see when Pirro does start and he's not having the best of games, I'd like to see Joseph come on and he's got a force as well.
Can I ask you then, which game did Matteo starting that comes to mind that he was great in, or have we had to turn to Pirro to score the goal? Yeah, that's the point. I don't know I hate to be, but my point, the point I'm trying to have this conversation is because I see no criticism at all, and I'm seeing people say we need to adjust to play to him. No, not for me.
I honestly don't think we can keep going. All right, well, Joseph can have 3 games then, right? Oh, Bamford's back fit. He can have 3 games. All right, Peru can have 3. He has to pick at some point. He has to pick his centre forward that's going to get 15, 20 goals this season. That's more likely to be Peru than it is any other ones at the moment.
It is now, mate. Yeah.
So it is what it is. I don't think dragging him on. And to be honest, the idea that Peru's this super sub, I don't buy into. I think he's done really well to play himself into the side. I think that would fall away pretty quick. He did really well for them first sort of 5 games, whatever it was, coming off at bench. He's not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. That is not gonna carry on. Do you know what I mean? And then when that does dip off, what happens then? I just think you've got to keep Peru in front of goal. And if he starts missing his chances, then we can start calling him out. But I don't know. He's got to pick. And for me at the moment, Peru's the best shout. I just think he'll get some goals. And that
we need to see more from Joseph when he comes off the bench, though, don't you think? He needs to give more when he comes off the bench. For me, if I'm Joseph and he's only getting 20 minutes, I'm wanting to win that shirt back. And
of course, but you can't then go, well, Joseph I know you're not saying this, by the way.
No, I know, mate. I know.
You can't say, oh, well, Joseph can't do it off at bench, so I'll start him because Peru can do it off at bench.
I get you.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
No, I get you, mate.
And it don't bleed through into the squad. That'd do your head in. You'd go, what? Because I'm better off the bench than this player.
Yeah.
I am now on the bench. How does that work?
I don't understand that Piro's better from the bench. Maybe he's got more goals from there. I don't know where it comes from, but for me, he's a goal scorer. Every starts comes off. He don't come off the bench and inject energy into the game.
No, he doesn't.
He'll stand where he'll stand when he's starting. He'll do the same thing
forever.
You just need to give him more service during the game.
That's what I mean. Put him in front of goal and then judge him, because that is what he's there for. And if he can't deal with the pressure of just being a guy that's got to take his chances, which thus far he is doing. Also, strikers go for a couple of games and they don't get a goal, don't they?
Yeah,
that happens.
And I feel like because I really rate Joseph. I thought he'd be top scorer, but my point, he has had one-on-ones. He has had chances, even when we've been comfortable in games. The one against Luton, what's he doing there? The one-on-one, was that against Burnley where we end up getting beat 1-0 where he's through?
Yeah, well, yeah.
He has had chances. And that's my point.
Wide. I'm not just picking out one chance he's had, but that were wildly wide, wasn't it?
Yeah, man. So this is, but I don't think it's fair that some get battered and others don't. That's my point. I don't know.
And this is exactly the same that people say about the manager. We're doing it now for the players. We can criticize a player without hating him. That's all we're doing now. You want to criticize the manager and say that to us, we can criticize players and not him. No one hates Joseph. I'm not speaking for everyone. I'm sure we all quite like him. I think he's ace. He's got a really good future. But right now, he's struggling to find consistency. And that's fine. As long as you've got a guy who can do the stuff up front and Pro is scoring goals. So.
Yeah. And he's improving. I think he's improving in the 9 as well, though. I think his link-up play is getting better.
Yeah, he's getting better.
He picked Joseph at the start of the season, did Farke, and he gave him plenty of games. He did pick him. That was it. That was a call that he made. He said, "You will be the number 9," and then he Didn't
and
do
now
it.
he's third off the bench. Now Bamford's coming on ahead of him. Do you know what I mean? So that hopefully gives him.
With that. I think he's playing with that. And to be fair, at weekend, I think he was just switching it up a bit. It were pinging about a lot with ball, and Bamford is a bit more of a target man, isn't he? I just think he would. I don't think it's a hierarchy thing. That I don't think it's. You know what I mean? I don't think they're in pole position or whatever. Yeah, I think it's on second in next week, for instance.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be a thing we'll see. I just want to say as well, I know you mentioned Nonto, Joe, I just want to mention really quickly, like, even players like him, it seems like whenever you mention a player like, but I thought he was really good in the game, and I go, was he really good in the game? I don't think he was. He always moves well. He's really good at movement. He's always sharp, but we're looking for end product from these guys.
Yeah.
He had another one-on-one chance. He should have scored.
He's guilt-edged that. He's got to score that. He's got to score it.
Well.
He was like, as though he was like selfishly trying to beat players and stuff at times. You know, when there's a ball on to just deliver, and then he went to like beat the left back. And I understand, like, you know, getting it, and it looks good, and he's probably trying to play for his position a little bit. I think he feels a little bit threatened, possibly. I've no idea, but you know, the way he were playing, it felt like he feels like he's having to do everything. It's like, just whip a ball in, lad. Just put a good ball in,
and that's why I think, Jack, a lot of people, like I heard, and everyone sees it differently, but will like say, don't know why I brought Nonto off. Don't know. Nonto, I think people, this is how I say it, that Nonto had a good game because he was involved. That doesn't necessarily mean, like you say, the amount of times he made the wrong decision in the final third for me was infuriating.
Farke's got the best squad in the league, right? People say every week, right? And these are the best players. So when they're in those moments, these best players in the league have to start winning us the games at times. That's just, you know.
Yeah. And they're not doing that. They're not doing that at the minute.
Not consistently enough now.
Yeah, no, they're not. Definitely not. Right, let's switch it up. Another comment here. Jared said, easiest stretch of games in our season, need a run through mid-Jan. Evie, I'll come to you. So we've got Derby, Borough, Preston away, Oxford, Stoke away, and Derby away. Like, genuinely, we're not going to win them all, are we? But they're very favourable, aren't they?
On paper.
Yeah.
On paper, they are.
Yeah.
But we all know what things look on paper versus what they look like on a pitch. I think 13 for me is minimum out of those available. That's for me, because of the fact that I think we should beat Derby at home. I genuinely would take a point against Middlesbrough. I want a win at Preston. If a player comes near Meslier and the ball's nowhere near, I'd like him to keep his hands by his side, just as a little, let's not have another red card. Oxford at home, we should win that easily. Like, we should. Stoke away, I would like to beat Stoke, because, again, they were one of those pivotal games last season that you remember for all of the wrong reasons, just like the QPR game, games like that where we had chances, literally had, the penalty that we didn't score. And so, we need to be winning those games. And then Derby away, I really hope Farke's done his research on why these Derby games are going to be spicy. I hope that he understands what it means to a lot of Leeds fans and to a lot of Derby fans, and why they won't be nice games. They're not going to be respectful games. And for me, in that away game at Derby, I want to see somebody like Gilavogi on the pitch, because I think you need a calm but also potential shithouse on the pitch for me. And that's another Dan James kind of game as well, because you need somebody who can give it but not be petulant. So you need somebody who's going to calm Nonto down, who's going to, also somebody to calm Ramazani down, because he's played for about 20 minutes in the last 2 games and got 2 yellow cards. So I would like him not to get another yellow card. He shouldn't have any with the amount of minutes he's played in the last kind of, however many games since Watford. So Yeah, we need at least, if we're including that derby, then I'm probably saying 14 as an absolute minimum.
And that puts us top, man. I just can't. Yeah, Oxford, Derby, Preston, Stoke, Jack. What are you thinking?
Well, we went on a run, didn't we, last year when that was crazy run. Our games were that 10 games or something, 10 games or 12 games or something where we went unbeaten.
I think it was like 13, mate, and maybe like so many wins on the spin. Or didn't we go 10 games without conceding or something like that?
Yeah, we were. I remember being extremely comfortable watching games, just thinking this is another win. And I do honestly do, and this is where I start getting pelters, but I honestly do think that is on the horizon. I think we will do that again. I do think we'll go on a run of games where we look like the best team in the league, which I do think we are. So I think we will look like that at some point. And again, I would say there's not. I mean, we got beat to a penalty on Saturday as well, which has sort of been not ignored, but I know Blackburn. I don't think Blackburn are a poor side. I don't buy into the fact that they're terrible because I don't think they are. But I think anybody can beat anybody in this league, in any league, to be fair. But to be fair to Farke as well, we've always bounced back after a poor result. That is one thing that happened a lot last year. Every time we had a poor result, we did bounce back. It was rare that we went, other than towards the end of the season where everybody was like having Bambi legs and they were flapping about all over the shop. But to be honest, I can't run through games and not pick 3 points for each game. But that doesn't mean I think we're going to get sort of maximum points out of the games. But again, there's going to be a game that pops up that we have to just go and win a bit messy and a bit mucky and just sort of get it done. But we need to be topped by Christmas. I think that is more than achievable. So
yeah,
just every game, one game as it comes. Every game
as it comes. Yeah.
15, Joe. It was 15 games, 13 wins, 2 draws.
Yeah, it's mad.
I did think after
we lost back-to-back games before we went on that
yeah.
run as well against Preston and West Brom. So,
Dunks, if we lose that weekend, that's my ammunition. I'll go. Haven't we lost that?
All part of the plan.
Yeah, exactly, man. It's all part.
Farke, tactical genius. He knew exactly what he was doing.
He knows how to get them players riled. That's what it is. 2 defeats and then they're off.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I genuinely, Matty. I don't know about you. When we beat Luton, and it felt like we got out of second gear, I thought this was it. This was the run.
Yeah, I thought we'd already on it now, mate.
Yeah.
And then obviously we just halted there. But it's just on paper, mate. You know what I mean? If it were on paper, we'd already be champions, mate. It's just, I'm just not sure. That Stoke away bothers me. We lost there last year. Preston bothers me. On paper, we're better than them. You know, based on every statistic out there, we should be beating them. But I feel like Dillo today from one of the Leeds bros. I feel like I got that Leeds tag in my head and it just won't go. I mean, that Middlesbrough one's been concerning me for a while. After losing at the weekend, that Middlesbrough one now for me has to be 3 points. I mean, imagine if I expect us, to win this weekend against Derby, but imagine then we get a draw against Middlesbrough, then we go away to Preston and don't win, and we get a couple of draws back to back. You start losing momentum again. I think we're the best footballing side in this league. I think when you're in the Premier League, the best footballing side tends to win it. I think in this league, you can shithouse it, and I could imagine, like a Burnley could easily shithouse this, not playing good football and finish top of league. So this is what's in my head at the minute. I'm just this away form, just this run we've got now. Like I say, Stoke we should beat them, Preston we should beat them. Middlesbrough's a tough game. If we go out and get like 12, 13 points out of the next 15 available, I'll be a lot more confident than I am currently. And you know me, mate, I am usually super confident. Yeah. I'm just having a wobble. I'm sure it'll go away. You're all doing your best to make me feel better, which is brilliant. But yeah, hopefully, mate, a good performance at weekend and then move on to Middlesbrough and, you know what I mean, we'll get that run coming. But yeah, I thought we'd already on that run. Take this weekend out of it, mate. I thought this was start of us running. We were going to build that. Looking at the fixtures, I was confident. It's just that's really halted it now, and I just can't shake it.
100%. Jared says lack of me. I can't help but laugh at this one, Jared, mate. We've got the best. It's probably the best depth in the squad. Well, outside of the wingers, man. We've got Rothwell, Tanaka, Ampadu, Gruev, and Gulavogi and crew. Now, I know they're not all available, but fuck me, that's some 6 in the championship, mate. So I don't know about that, if I'm honest, mate. to be honest. Right, Nick says, need some players during the winter. Who do you think? Just on this, I watched a show earlier on another channel, which I'm going to take him to task to tomorrow on the counterpoint. But it seems to me, this is how I watched and viewed it, was, well, we don't need any more players because he's got all the tools. It just feels to me another way to criticize the manager by not saying, well, he don't need any players, he should have enough. For me, we 100% need a number 10. We need someone who's going to unlock the door when we're playing these low blocks, when we're playing these teams that are so deep. Look, Aronson, I love him. Off the ball, I think he's getting far too much criticism. But ultimately, yes, he's scored goals, but he has only got 1 assist. That is an issue. And, of course, you need someone who is going to be able to play them little through balls that are going to get through to Pirot and he's going to find the back of the net. We don't really have that. Although sometimes I do think, actually, to be fair to Harrison, he plays a lovely ball through the legs of someone at the weekend and Nonto fucking misses it. So, again, I come back to Nonto missing chances. But my point is, it almost feels now that people are saying, no, what, you don't need players. We've got best squad in the league. Yeah, of course, I hear that. But Ipswich, Southampton, they all did business. They all did business. So for me, I think we still need we need players, and if they don't, if they don't, I think they're resting on their laurels, and I think it's piss poor.
But yeah, December's massive, isn't it? When you look at it like that, I mean, if we have a patchy December and we remain in third come mid-January, any of these players that we're linked with, the top two will get. Just like they did last year. So this is where December's massive, and let's be fair, January as well in terms of, at least half of it, because we won't look at bringing anyone until towards the end. I wouldn't have thought we'll sit and we'll wait for the right player, the right profile, if any deals can be done. But for me, we need to be, I know third within touching distance, but we need to be front and centre, like you say. We need to be in that top two, because if you're a player in the Premier League who's maybe not playing, you look at Leeds and think, am I going to be able to get in that side? Because he doesn't rotate that much. I know he's done a little bit more now, but you could easily look at that Leeds team and think, am I going to get in that squad like he's been blamed for last season? If we're sitting top or second, there's an argument there that you can come to Leeds, push and get a promotion. If you're third, fourth with patchy form, I'm not saying that's where we're going to be. I think we will be top mid-January. But if I'm just saying that you've got to look at that and say we have to be better than we are away from home to claw that gap, get on top, because these players will go to other teams. I mean, who'd have thought Ipswich at the beginning of last season would have got Kiefer Moore when they're a promoted side? But because they're up there, they're mixing in those circles and they get them over Leeds United. Who'd have thought that beginning of the season for a League One promoted team? So we have to be front and centre to be linked with these players and get them over the line, for me.
Yeah, I never understood we've got a good team now, it should be enough. So if you're a manager and they're saying here's 3 quality Prem loans, not 3, but for example, here's a quality Prem loan here, you're going to go, no, I can do it with these. But he's really good. No, I don't care. I could do it with these. Of course you're going to take him. Of course you're going to want someone. Every manager wants a little more if they're very good players. I don't understand that. You don't have to, you know what I mean? No, he needs to do it with these lot. Do you want Leeds to get promoted? If he needs another player, give him another player. It's a loan. We're not asking for a £20 million player to bring in. Bring in a loan that's going to help us. Like, I don't get it. And, we have amazing depth. We do. We have unbelievable players. But we have one number 10. Everyone could talk about Nonto, Ramazani, Solomon can play there maybe. But that's a can play there maybe. That's not, they are born and bred number 10s that can really help this team. They're wingers. I don't want what's that, square pegs round holes. Let's just get a number 10 in that can help. Because that's the only place we don't have any competition. Because we don't.
And that's why you try as well. I would rather Aronson play than a winger who might be good in 10. Yeah, Aronson can play there. Do you know what I mean?
I like our wing competition. I want them to stay out there. I like that competition out there. I think it's good. I think we need I know you said a smaller player, Joe, a technical player, but I wouldn't mind a big one, a big physical guy in there who can just hold that ball up and spin quick. A bit like Ruto was, but obviously not as crazy.
You know more
a bit
than me,
safer.
bro.
Well, no, it's whatever.
Yeah, you do like.
It's
all right, mate. I'm a vibes man, me, mate.
Either or, though. If he came in with his technical number 10 that's really good, and we're like, oh, well, yeah, I'll take him. But at the end of the day, looking at Daniel Farke's teams in the past, them guys who played there are big physical players who get in the box as well. They attack the box. We don't have that. do we, really? And they can also get back and sit deeper if they need to as well. So I think that's what we need. And that's the only real profile that I think he's missing, that I think he wanted in the summer as well. I don't know if we will. Probably not, let's be honest.
We have
I won't
to.
mind one.
We have to get a 10. We really do,
hopefully.
because like at this
And
time
I think,
last season, Rutter had already had 11 goal contributions and Aronson's on 5. So like we are really missing that spark. It's all right having off the ball work, pressing work, but Matty, I think you said the other day about you don't necessarily need to fully press if you've constantly got the ball, but you do need somebody to be able to, light a fire when all you're doing is passing the ball, from side to side and backwards. You do need somebody who will, literally take, control of it and say, no, this is what we're doing. I'm going to just run and drive with the ball. I'm going to be physical with people. So I agree with you, Lockie, in the fact that I would like a physical player, because I do think we lack that naturally physical kind of stature. We've got
guys
very
are good with back to goal as well.
Yeah, just technical, and give him his dues that Joseph does do that pretty well, in the fact of he can hold off. That is something that Pirro doesn't do. That isn't a criticism, that's just a statement of he doesn't do that. We need that 10, because then we get the best out of Pirro as well, because he gets better service. Aronson just seems to not have faith in himself, and I'm not here to boost his confidence. Leeds United isn't there to stroke his ego. He needs to do that on his own. He needs to get his head out of his backside, step away from America, do whatever he needs to do in order.
You fucking hate Brendan Aronson.
I don't.
He's playing well, even.
But is he though? He's doing a lot of running. He's doing a lot. But what is he doing? He's making the wrong decisions at the vital time. He should have gone for the shot the other day, and he didn't. He laid it off. He doesn't actually take that shot because he overthinks things. He has a lack of confidence. And then when he has a lack of confidence, all of a sudden we don't do well. I'm not here to protect any player. I'm here to want Leeds United to do the best. And for me, he also needs competition. It's all right saying he's good off the ball and he presses and he does all of that. I completely agree. But he doesn't change a game. How many times did we have Rutter last year change a game by picking it up really deep and then having that vision to spot a pass? I'm not saying that we need somebody exactly like Rutter because they are hard to find, but you can find somebody that is more creative than Aronson. I just don't. We need somebody more.
Who's created the most chances? Is it Nonto then Brendan? I'm not sure. I think it might be Nonto and then Brendan after that. I'm not sure. I don't know. Yeah,
that's also, in fairness to Evie's point, that's also a circumstance of how often you are on ball, isn't it? Ultimately, if you're in the 10, I create a couple of chances over the season. Do you know what I mean? If I'm constantly getting the ball, I'm going to create the odd chance just by being a moron and just it bouncing off me, and So I just think it's a bit harsh on Aronson's level. You can't make somebody that they're not. Do you know what I mean?
He's just not that type of player. We need that.
To Rutter is like, comparing anyone to Rutter. I think Rutter actually got a heck of a lot of stick last year for losing the ball and being too. Well, Aronson doesn't do that. I mean, he lost the ball a little bit at weekend, in fairness, but the idea that he's weak and stuff, I think's got to have stopped.
His physicality has improved a hell of a lot.
He don't get bullied about, and he, as I say, he's not gonna light it up. But we've just spoke about Nonto, how he always looks sharp, always looks good on ball, always doing it. But his end product's not been great either. So it's
I just feel like
Aronson, he's not as pleasant on the eye, but that doesn't mean that he's not contributing in. But Dan James got it a bit, and now Dan James has come into that. A lot of people saying he's best winger at club and stuff, and his final products there, and players just look different. They play different, they perform different, they run different. I just think it's I don't know. I'm not saying Aronson's the best 10 in the world. I don't think he is by any stretch. We can definitely improve in that area. I actually don't think we do desperately need a player in. I honestly don't. I think unless you're going to get the player in that walks into the side, I don't really get and then I get this idea that I just don't want a new good signing in, and then I try and make a joke saying as long as they're better, obviously I'll take them. It's like, well, it's a new person, isn't it? That's what Joe said at weekend to me.
I had, didn't I? So I was like,
I know, but I was making the joke. The joke was, well, if they're better, then yes, obviously. And then you're, well, that's new then. Like, well, yeah, that's nicking my joke. You're making me look a fool.
He sat on that for a week. He sat on that for a week.
It drove me mental. It drove me mental. I couldn't, honestly, I'll never forget it.
I think Aronson's effective, and he's done better this season than I thought he'd do, if I'm honest, at the beginning of the season. But I don't know if you talk a bit about Aronson like he's the glue that holds it all together. For me, if Aronson comes out, it doesn't all go to pot. Do you get what I mean? I think some people act as if we couldn't play without Aronson in that 10. And for me, I think we've even potentially got the answer within. I think a Solomon could play there. Like, I know Lockie will say, and you look at the breakdown of it and you can say he may be pressed, he can't mark, and he can't move off the ball, maybe as good as what Aronson can do. But I feel like you can coach that, you can discipline that, but you can't discipline making someone a creative player if they're not. So that's where I'm at. I don't see if Aronson comes out, what do we lose 5 in a row? I don't see it. I think it elevates his game for me, and Aronson's been brilliant.
We're better with Aronson out of the side, mate.
Well, we don't know, do we? Because we haven't seen it. But I'd like to see it.
We haven't seen it.
That is though. Why do you think we haven't seen it?
Well, Solomon's been injured, just working his way up to fitness. Ramazani's been injured, so they haven't really had
nothing to do with the fact that
I don't think so. I think now if we have 4 fully fit wingers from now till end of December, I reckon you see one of them 100%, even if it's for half an hour.
He did have, and he chose Aronson. Aronson worked his way into the side. He's picked Aronson. He's certainly not putting any player for laugh or just
Aronson was coming off the bench when Rutter was here, if you remember, and a lot of the times coming on the left, and now he plays in the 10.
Yeah. I think you'll see. I think you'll see in December someone will get a chance in there. I don't see Aronson playing every game. There's got to be some rotation there. He's the only one who really hasn't been rotated. What's that, mate?
Aronson could do with having a little bit of
100%. But I just feel, Jack, like the talent we've got, and whether people think it's square pegs round holes, I don't know if we're willing on toward a Solomon is a square peg in a round hole. It might not be a perfect fit, but
bro, there's a lot too.
I'm not the only one saying it, pal.
Yeah, but you're saying, right? I'm just
Insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. He's been poor for a few games.
I'm not bashing Aronson, by the way. I'm not bashing.
All right, well, what has he done then? What has he done?
He's a lot of the reason why we're so good defensively. He starts off the press. He covers so much ground. He is normally the guy that I would call it the pre-assist before the assist. He's the one who knits it together. If you look at Aronson's heat map, he's fecking everywhere. If you think you're getting that from Ramazani, who can't tackle, and if you think you're getting that from Nonto, you're not. You're just not.
No, I get that, but we also haven't won those games whilst he's been doing all of that. So why can't another player do something different, and maybe we get something different, a different result out of it?
Do you think if Nonto plays it, Joe? Do you think if Nonto plays it 10 at weekend, we'll lose that game because Nonto's playing it 10?
No, I'm not. I didn't say that though.
Do you think we look worse then because he's in 10? Genuinely,
yes, defensively, yeah.
But we did lose. So that's like saying any game, if you swapped it round, would we lose? Like, are you saying we'd win if we put Nonto in centre there?
Well, I think offensively we'd look better. Joe's saying defensively would look worse, but we have the ball for 70% of the game, usually.
Why is that? Why is that? Why do we have a lot of the ball?
Well, I don't think
we had a lot of the ball last
final third.
But we had a lot of the ball last season as well. Aronson wasn't playing last season.
Yeah, like earlier when we say you can criticize someone without saying the shit. That's what we're doing here. We are saying
no,
same as we are with Farke and everybody else.
No, I get that. I know that you're not saying this shit, but you said that we'd be better. You said that.
There's no proof to say we wouldn't be better either.
No, my counter argument to that then would be, well, why is that? Because everyone who told us So it's the same point. Why aren't he playing Joseph? Why isn't he playing Joseph? Well, we can see now why he didn't play Joseph. There's the facts. Why didn't he play Joseph last season? We can see now. But everyone always said Joseph would be better. And if we'd have played Joseph last season, we'd have gone up. I will, until the manager changes. Listen, I'm wrong. Look, I said Rothwell was shit. How wrong was I? Do you know what I mean? These things happen. People will be going out of their mind based on what I'm saying, but I just think the disrespect on Brendan's just too far. You said that we would look better. You said we would look better by playing someone who's not a 10.
Why is having an opinion being offensive towards Aronson, though? Why are we not allowed to critique?
No, but you're not. There's a difference between critique and saying just get him out of the side because we'll be better without him.
Rotating. I didn't say we'd be better. I'd say we'd be different.
You didn't say we would be better. Matty did. We're in this same conversation.
No. I think rotate him, and there's an argument to say.
But Dan James has no end product. All he does is run.
Ray. There is an argument, of course. Of course, I'm wrong. I've just fucking told you I was wrong, Ray. I've just told you I was wrong on a player. Do you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. I don't know.
I just love to see it, and then for a couple of games, let Aronson come out, and then see if he can impact off bench and come back in. But I just think when these four wingers are going and they're all playing well, which they are, they're coming off a bench and playing well, they're starting and playing well, and I think there's a couple in there that there's a conversation for them filling in at 10, and I think they might just outplay Aronson in that role, and he has to come out. That's how I see it. That's just my opinion. And like I said, Aronson's done no wrong there. I just feel like if one of them gets a sniff in there, you can't tell me you can't, Nonto can't press, Nonto can't do this. You can't say he cannot do that as a footballer. He's young, he's quick, he's strong. He could hold ball up, turn on sixpence and drive with ball like Ruto did. He's got that in his game, Will Nonto. In
fairness to him.
Nonto could do that role, Jack. If Aronson got injured tomorrow and went out for all December, you'd play Willie, wouldn't you? You'd play Willie in 10.
Well, I would, yeah, to be honest.
We didn't know how good Tanaka and Rothwell were going to be until we got injuries and things like that. So,
he played Pirro in 10.
Yeah, well, that's on
He didn't play Nonto in 10 last season at any point.
No,
that's
and if Aronson comes out and we fall apart, then that's absolutely fine.
Oh, no,
we put him. I don't mind that, Joe, because I'm not getting on my high horse and refusing to allow somebody to have an opinion because it doesn't, go along with your retro. No, but you're shouting down to both myself and Matty because of the fact that we don't agree with your, and like you said, you're just vibes. So,
I'm not shouting you down. I'm not shouting you down.
You're making me sad, Joe. You're making me sad, man.
Sorry, I'm not. Please, I'm not shouting you down. That's unfair. Yeah. I am.
No, but you then come on, and I'm going to drop this word again because you loved it so much. You have been facetious when, if something all of a sudden happens and somebody has a counterpoint opinion to you, then, you happen to get riled up and then you go all, fiery and, the inner ginger, really comes screaming out of you. And, you get rather boisterous about it. And
you've watched this channel before, though, Evie.
I know, but he'll clip this up and he'll get some more money for it. So I'm just helping him with Christmas.
What's all that about? That's under the belt.
The thing is about falling apart, though. I think we could put Firpo in 10 and we won't fall apart. It's not like I don't think any player that comes out of this the way we're playing, just in general. I don't think we collapse if any of them come out.
I agree.
It's not, we're not reliant on any of them in that sense. I just think,
Schmidt on wing and everyone were raving about it.
You what?
We put Schmidt on the wing and everyone said he's really good there. You know what I mean? Like, we've got good players.
This is true. Well, we'll see, won't we? We will see on the weekend if
I think he'll do it a little bit like when he put Ramazani, put him in centre, didn't he? I think he'll do it a bit sort of 70 minutes in and stuff. I think he'll switch up. And I don't actually think that's particularly a bad thing, though. Because I think he will actually turn on ball a bit, and he does look to, all he wants to do is go forward. So,
yeah, I think Ramazan is the best fit for that role. If he's
the only one that I've got.
He's very busy. Yeah, he's aggressive. He's busy. I think Nonto's great, but Nonto's a sprinter. He'll make sprints. I think Ramazan just likes to run around. Do you know what I mean? A bit like Aronson. Same with Solomon. He's just a bit of a sprinter, short sprints. So I think he likes a busy player in there, just Farke. I think Ramazani might be that guy.
And Ramazani can beat players. He seems like that type of lad that's like,
little
he
flicks
just,
and stuff behind.
and he's very aware. He's very aware of everybody around him and how tight people are to him and stuff.
Yeah, he's very good at in the air as well, which I was quite surprised at when we did play it up to him. He has been able to hold it up. Let's go round the panel then. Does Aronson play on Saturday against Derby? We'll start with you, Eva.
Yes, he does.
He does start for you.
No, he'll start
All
for
right.
Farke.
So Farke starts him. Would you change it? We'll do that then.
I would change it.
Okay. Who would be your pick?
If Ramazani's fit, then Ramazani, and then you keep Nonto and James on, and Solomon comes out.
Nonto, James, Ramazani, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Matty?
Yeah, I'd bench him for this one with a view of bringing him back for Middlesbrough. Just give him a rest in this one. I'd play Ramazani in 10, probably Solomon on left, James on right, and leave Nonto on bench as well.
Yeah. Lockie? What do you think Farke will do though, Matty?
He'll play Aronson.
Yeah. Lockie?
It's a good shout. Middlesbrough midweek, save his legs for that game. There's going to be a lot of running in that game as well, isn't there, against Middlesbrough? They love it.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. But for me, it's how fit is Ramazani. I don't think he's ready to start yet. I think Aronson, yeah.
Would you go with Aronson?
At this point, yeah. Until Ramazani's fully fit and ready, I don't think there's a conversation yet.
Fair.
BA7 all the way for me. Both accounts. Go, Jack. Where you at?
Even though
I'm
he's
still
11.
not ruling out Farke. I wasn't joking earlier when I said him in 10. So I'd have a look at that.
What you say? Sorry, mate. I missed that because Evie was being a knob. Go on, mate.
He'll start Aronson, and I would as well.
Yeah. You know what I'm like for numbers anyway, Evie, on that quiz on Joe Blackburn. I'm having a nightmare with that stuff. Yeah, right. We've got some more comments. This has gone on long, this show, hasn't it? It's been fun, though. Gary Paul, Leeds fans are expecting 100% win rate. That's ridiculous. They're also looking for a 5-0 every game. We're not prime Barca. We are a championship team. Thanks for your super chat, Gary. Sorry, just looking at this. Everyone was saying how Burnley got raided in the summer and how they will struggle under Parker. Guess who's above us? What does that make us?
They are struggling. They are bad.
Yeah, they're bad. They are bad.
They are good players that can score goals with one chance.
Yeah. Exactly. Clinicality. Yeah, that's what we miss. That's what we miss.
Great word.
We do definitely miss that. Listen, I've really enjoyed tonight's show. I've fucking been cooked in the comments thanks to Eva. But this is why I bring Evie on, because I like debate. I like opinions. Everyone has an opinion, and I don't appreciate the shouting down thing, but hey ho, that might be something I'll have to look back on and work on myself. Will it happen again? Yes, it will.
Absolutely, it will.
100%.
See
Right.
that in the chat, Joe. Even Sean beat you at the
Oh, I'm not his friend. I've been ignoring him. I'm not his friend. He called me a clown, so I'm not his friend. I thought we were pals, but yeah, he called me a clown. So I'm coming to Ireland, Sean. I'm gonna bash you up. Good man. Yeah, even Sean beat me. That's how I know it was. Time to turn it in. I think Sean beats me at anything, then it's time to turn it in, perhaps. Right, we've got Derby on weekend. Jack, give us a score prediction.
Farke 2-0.
2-0.
from the 10.
Yeah. 2-0, yeah. I just think it'll be bread and butter.
Yeah, I think we'll smash them. I think we're going to smash them. I think it'll be 4-0. I think we'll win 4-0. I do honestly. I think we'll come back with a vengeance, a full week's worth of training, and I think we'll smash Derby. They're not great, especially away from home. 4-0 Leeds. Lockie?
That's what I was going to say, Joe. But I'll bet you. I'm going to go unrealistic 5-0 Leeds, you know?
Love that. Evie?
I'm going to go 2-0.
2-0. Both Aronson, I assume?
Obviously, yeah.
I'm telling you, do you know, already in my head, I'm going, I fucking hope he scores. Matty, where you at?
A very realistic 5-0.
Yeah.
Love it.
Same reason as you, mate. I'm feeling down, but it's more the away form. I honestly think they'll bounce back after that performance. And yeah, I know we don't tend to put us foot on the gas and make a 3 or 4 or 5, but I think this is the one. This will be a massive performance, mate. And I think 5-0. Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. Definitely. Jack, I'm going to give you the final word today, mate. What is it?
I don't give somebody else the final word, I think.
Eva, you take the final word.
Why don't we all have one and try and make a complete sentence?
Right, okay. Yeah. Go on, you start us off, Jack.
I
love
Farke.
And
Aronson.
It's on that note, we'll leave it there.